Hi. Before starting studying the laptop schematic step by step, I go first to teach you some tips that is very important for every engineer, technician or student who want to become professional in schematic reading. So let's get started. First, this line, as you can see, means a wire, okay, in the schematic. Two lines like this means two wires that are not connected, and two wires with a dot here means two connected wire. Okay, you can find also like this. The symbol means this, two wires that are not connected. Okay, so if you find a wire and this sign here means this is a not connected wire. Okay, so now we have here two wire, this wire and another wire, a thick wire or a bolded wire like this. This wire means normal path. It can hold a signal or a low voltage. For example, it can hold a drive signal, okay, or an enable signal. For example, about 1 volt or 1.2 volt, etc. Okay, but this kind of wire, exactly as you can see here. Do you see here? We have this wire, a bolted one, and we have this wire. As you see, we have the gate. This MOSFET, this is its gate. This is a normal wire. We have here just a control signal. But this wire holds 19 volt. As you see, plus V adapter. We have here the DC jack. Okay, so this wire means a high power trace. Okay, means a high power path or trace. Okay, so if you find this symbol in the motherboard, as you can see here, or this, means this is a voltage terminal. Here we have plus V. Also here we have plus V. Okay, but if you find like this is a V reference. Okay, with this circle, a line with circle means V reference. We will see all this in the schematic and in the motherboard. Don't worry, I'm going to teach you step by step until you become a professional. Just follow with me, okay? So for this form, as you can see, so this is in this direction or coming from this direction to this direction. And if you find like this, as you can see, is the opposite from here, as you can see, to here. For example, here we have a chip or a control IC, and here we have a MOSFET. Okay, so the signal goes here. Okay, but if you find this form, as you can see, means this is a bi-directional. Okay, in both directions. The signal goes in both directions. Okay, now we will see the symbols of the component that we will use in the schematic. Okay, so the first symbol is the symbol for the capacitor. As you can see, this is capacitor. Okay, this symbol means ceramic capacitor. Okay, this symbol with plus here, okay, or even this with plus here means chemical capacitor or polarized capacitor. Okay, for this symbol, as you can see here, this is inductor L or PL. The reference you can find in some motherboards L or PL. This is inductor. Okay, this is inductor okay, or coil. You can find this for inductor, okay. So of course for diode we have this symbol, as you can see, with anode here, okay, and cathode here, or plus and minus. You can also find this type of diode, as you can see. So this is a Zener diode. This diode is used to stabilize the current, okay? And this is a normal diode, and this is a Zener diode to stabilize the current. We will see all this in the schematic. We can find also in the motherboard the resistance. This is the symbol for the resistors, as you can see, okay? Or this, okay? You can find R or PR. The reference for the resistors in the motherboard, you can find R in some motherboard or PR in others. There is another type of resistor, as you can see here, a network resistor. A network resistor is a resistor that contains many resistors, okay? So this is a network resistor, okay? Network resistor. We find this kind of resistor always in the motherboard, especially in RAM. I will show you a RAM in the motherboard. As you can see here, you see this RAM? These are network resistors, a combination of 4 resistors, okay? Okay, also here, we have also here network resistors. The same working principle as a normal resistor, but these resistors used to control the flow of current. So we can find also in the motherboard the MOSFET. Okay, so the MOSFET, or we can find a transistor. The symbol for this MOSFET, the MOSFET is this. We have here gate, we have here drain, and we have here source. Okay, or you can find the transistor, as you can see here, with here collector, emitter, and base here. What about the ICs? So for the IC, in the motherboard is indicated with a square like this. This is IC, or even a rectangle like this, IC, or power management. Okay, I will show you all this in the motherboard and in the schematic. So for this form, as you can see, you will find also this form in the motherboard, like this, with many rectangle and square. So here you will find, for example, here the clock, and for example here the RAM, here the VGA, here for example LVDS, okay, here for example ground, and here for example power. So this is a chip. This is the symbol of the chip in the motherboard. We will see all this. This squares or rectangle means controller. This part is the RAM controller. Okay, so this part designed for the clock. This is connected to the ground. Here we have power. Okay, here this is connected, for example, to the monitor or to the screen. Here to the VGA part, etc. Okay, we're going to see two kinds of ground, as you can see. In the motherboard, you will find two kinds of ground. This is the digital ground, okay? And here we have the analog ground. This is the symbol for the digital ground, and this is the symbol for analog ground. And of course, there is another symbol for the chassis ground. This is a chassis ground. But you will not find this kind of ground in the motherboard. So I want to add that, for example, you can find IC. For example, this is an IC, and you will find here P 17. Means this IC exists in the page number 17 in the schematic. So we will study this motherboard. We will read everything in this motherboard. I guarantee for you that if you follow with me and you finish this course, I guarantee for you that you will be able to read and to understand any laptop schematic. Okay? Because the working principle is the same. If you understand this course, you will be able to understand and read and analyze any schematic. You know why? Because I will go with you step by step. We will cover everything about schematics in this course.